Let's see, we had 3, 3, 2, 1, so we had 9.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like 9. You know, when Marty's drunk, he cannot read the clock. He can do a lot of things drunk, but he cannot read a clock when he's drunk.
Hey, good to have you with us once again. It's Exiles TV. He's Bill Profita, and yes, it is true. I'm Kevin Gallagher. I know there was rumors going around that maybe I had died or fallen off the face of the planet, but nope, I'm back.
What was it that Samuel Clemens said? Rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated. Speaking of demise, if I may, just a little quick personal privilege.
Sure.
God rest you, Dusty Hill. At 72 years old, bass player for ZZ Top. This was a band that never once in their entire 50-some-odd year history changed their lineup at all. It remained Frank Beard, Dusty Hill, and Billy Gibbons for the entirety of ZZ Top. He was a great, great bass player. He wasn't overly flashy, but that's what made him so great, is he was content to just be the backbone.
Well, he was discovered in Houston, Texas.
He's from Dallas.
Yeah, he was a sideman for someone that was an up-and-coming blues jazz act at that time, whose name is lost to me and lost to history. But I believe it was Billy Gibbons says, hey, this guy can play. Let's see, we're forming a band. And they formed that band, and the hits. I mean, Tush, Legs, Sharp Dressed Man.
Give Me All Your Lovin'.
Give Me All Your Lovin'.
Rough Boy. Just Got Paid. I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide.
And 3 guys made that great sound. 3. And they still managed to do stage tricks with their guitars and things.
They were, and I dare say, I don't believe that ZZ Top as a band will go on by that name without Dusty Hill. Just knowing what little I know about Billy Gibbons, having seen him in interviews and things, I am going to make a prediction that they will call it quits for ZZ Top as a band.
They had some tour dates, and he was recovering from hip replacement surgery. They had some tour dates, and believe it or not, their chief guitar tech is a good enough bass player that he filled the slot on those tour dates. So they may go on. I think they're going to have to decide and talk to his family and say, what do you want to do?
Well, I hope that they do. I hope that they do, just to keep Dusty's memory alive. But God rest you and keep you, Dusty Hill. He was a bass playing hero of mine.
Yeah, he was a bass playing hero of everybody's. Someone asked me one time what drew me to their music. Because if I was in the car and one of their tunes came on, it would get cranked. When I started, making my own tapes and CDs, there was always some ZZ Top on it. And I said, the music was just plain fun. They could deliver. I mean, when they're playing that big bad riff and they pause for a millisecond and they do that kind of half chuckling, everyone's crazy about a sharp dressed man, they knew how to deliver and make you have as much fun with their music as they were. And there aren't many bands that could do that.
And it also can be said of Dusty that he was a pretty good vocalist too. He didn't sing a lot of the lead vocals, but when he sang, his voice was loud, clear, and distinct. So
I always wanted to ask why the drummer never wore a beard. I guess it would
his name was Beard.
His name was Beard.
His name's Frank Beard, so of course he didn't wear a beard.
Frank Beard.
But at one time, those guys, they put the Duck Commander guys to shame.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I read somewhere that the Robertsons were inspired by ZZ Top to grow the whiskers out. And since their TV show is no longer on the air, a lot of them have shaved those infamous whiskers off.
Well, there was no doubt if you were running through the channels, and remember we used to have pretty good late night music programming on the weekends.
Used to.
And you're running through the channels, you didn't have to hear the audio. You saw those 2 beards out in front of a drum set, and you knew ZZ Top was on that show. And you stopped your channel surfing right then.
remember when you used to see people actually perform live on late night television? Then it got to where nobody did anymore. It's like, well, why? If they're just going to dope it to a track of their album, why put them on television?
Yeah, just play the video that I'm sure they cut, 2 days after they cut the record.
That to me is what I call cheap production value. They didn't want to be bothered having to run all that mix through their sound, their sound system.
But I'll tell you what, a lot of their lines have resonated with people of all ages. A good friend of mine who passed away from pancreatic cancer about 11, 12 years ago was always a very, very flashy dresser. And we used to go over, and if we were all going out somewhere to dinner, we'd meet at one or the other's house, and we'd meet at their house occasionally. And his daughter, who was at Episcopal High at the time, I'd say hello to Steve and say, well, I'm here in ZZ Top. And he'd say, oh, you like this jacket? I said, yeah, you're a sharp-dressed man. And at his funeral, a lot of us who knew him very, very well made sure we wore our spiffiest suits, and our shoes were shined, and his daughter, who at that time was an adult, about 22, 23 years old, walked past all his male friends, and she said, Dad's here in ZZ Top, and so am I.
There you go.
It stuck with folks. It really did.
Already at our first break, so we're going to take that right now. When we come back, we'll open up a discussion. When you're a member of a team, is your first duty to the team or to yourself and your mental well-being?
You know what? I think I'm going to take a mental health day.
Bill's taking a mental health day. We're going to talk about that next when Exiles returns.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
He sticks the landing. Somebody play the Olympic theme behind me. By the way, we didn't go way empty-handed. Suni Lee, who had to pick up a lot of the slack,
God bless her,
won the gold in the women's individual all-around, which Simone Biles decided yesterday she was not going to compete in.
Was it yesterday or?
Well, yesterday our time, day before that and a half,
Gotcha.
and Tokyo time, and who knows? We just should have dropped more eggs, and then we wouldn't have to worry about holding the Olympics there.
This has opened up. Bill and I talked about this on our Facebook podcast the other morning, and it's opened up a lot of discussion. How do you feel about Simone Biles deciding, after going to Tokyo? First of all, she's still, even though she's probably the greatest female gymnast alive today, she still had to qualify and make the Olympic team. So she had to make the team. Then she goes to Tokyo with the team. Then she has some bad practice runs, and one in which, as you said, and I saw the video of it after our podcast the other day, she definitely looks like she got lost in midair on one of her vaults. And then she decides, I'm not going to compete individually. I'm just not going to do it. And she, cited her mental health as the reason she wasn't going to compete. And that made me think, well, what is her first duty? Is it to the women's gymnastics team, or to herself and her mental health?
Or to her obligation that she took on willingly and in fact competed for? And I think it's a bigger question because someone pointed out to me that this seems to be quite the thing among people of this age group. Not just Olympians, but I know 2 restaurateurs here in Baton Rouge that have posted about employees that have said, it's too intense, I need some time off. They come back and they say, I know I've only been back for 6 hours, but I need to take a mental health day and I'll be out today and tomorrow. And I think what we have is a society that has been taught that introspection is the most important thing. In other words, there is no value on putting anyone else ahead of you for a lot of these people. And it seems to be more prevalent in millennials, in younger people.
Well, we called the 80s the me decade, but I really think the 2010s are the me decade. The people that are coming into adulthood in the 2010s and the late aughts, if you will, the first decade of the 21st, are really much more self-absorbed. Much more self-absorbed. And maybe I'm just saying that because, I'm an old codger and you kids get off my lawn, but everything is about them. Everything is about them.
Well, I don't know that you're an old codger, and I don't know that it's an old codger viewpoint. You're right, the 80s was the me first generation. And that was about you're pummeling your way to the top of whatever your fields of endeavor, making more money than the next guy, getting the sales lead before your fellow salesperson.
It was about pursuit of wealth and success.
It was. This is something different. This is about pursuit of not having success. This is about going out in the world after you've been told by your parents and your teachers that whatever tickles your fancy is perfect. Here's your participation trophy. And then, oh my goodness, if you have a thought that's uncomfortable, well, you just tell everybody. You have to worry about your own mental health. Think about this. When you were that age and you were working a job, you were playing in bands, which is competitive. You got to get out there on stage every night, okay? I was working in radio right out of college, doing morning drive all by myself every morning. I would never have said, I'm just not feeling it today, and I'm worried about my mental health. You don't want to know why? Because your boss would have told you, take your mental health elsewhere. You are no longer going to be my problem.
To me, if you're sick, you're sick. Well, when you tell me you want to take a mental health day, that just means you're not feeling it that day. And I'm sorry, I was brought up on the ethic that suck it up, buttercup, you've got a job to do. You've got responsibilities.
Well, I was also brought up...
Now, if you're physically sick, that's completely
that's
different.
But even then, if you think about it, you'd have to prove it. I mean, we all used to try to dodge class every now and then when we were teenagers. And I don't feel well, Mom. You got a fever? Let's see. No fever? School. You know?
Yep.
You tried it at school. You didn't want to take the test in English that day. And so at the beginning of the class, you'd say, Mr. Mulcrone, I just don't feel well. Great, let's go down to the nurse. Nurse, stick a thermometer in your mouth.
He's fine.
You're fine. Back to class.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this is a very, very insidious thing that's really making its presence known in a lot of ways. Simone Biles, I admire her accomplishments.
Yeah, I'm not down on Simone Biles. I think she made a bad decision.
But here's the deal. She did not say to herself, there's somebody sitting in Wichita or Paducah or Homa or Long Beach that is watching the Olympics on TV that was the fifth person that could have been on this team. Now I'm sitting here, I am not honoring my obligation to my teammates, to the United States Olympic Committee, and I'm not embarrassed that they hang a medal around my neck that the team won when I didn't compete, because I have to look out for my mental health. And no one is saying, what have you been diagnosed with? Do you have anxiety attacks? Do you have schizophrenia? Do you have, a syndrome? No. In other words, it's like, I just don't feel cool.
I'm just not feeling it. What I think, and I don't know Simone Biles' mind or her thought process, but what it seems to me is that she was doing so badly in practice runs that she decided she did not want to go out in individual competition and embarrass herself.
Mm-hmm.
That she obviously was not up to her usual, fitness and peak.
But you know what? But you know what? Someone told me, and I actually didn't think that this person would say something that sounds this harsh, and said, saying the same thing, that, she was worried that she wasn't going to do as well as she normally does. And this person said, yeah, but she took the uniform, she took the free trip, she took the money, she's going to take the endorsements.
If the team medals, she'll get a medal.
She did. The team did get the silver medal in the women's team all around, the one she bailed on. And she's standing there with the flowers and the medal, grinning like a Cheshire damn cat.
Well, again, I still consider her to be maybe the greatest female gymnast, alive today.
And I think she is too. But I mean, you took the appointment to the team. Somebody's sitting at home that could have been there competing. Maybe not as good as you, but you're not competing anyway, so it doesn't matter. You took the trip, you took the fancy duds, you're taking all the endorsement money, you're letting them hang the medal around your neck. Damn it, get out there on the beam, get out there on the vault, do what you said you were going to do.
And to once again clarify what we're talking about, we're not necessarily we're speaking on a broader than just Simone Biles. We're talking about younger people seem to have a bad ethic when it comes to their responsibility to their group, their
and
team.
They've been trained and enabled, as much as I hate that word, to have that bad ethic. Oh, snowflake, you think that teacher's mean? Well, I'm going to fix it so you don't have to see that teacher again.
When you are part of a team, whether it's a team of reporters and news anchors in the newsroom, whether it's a team of waiters at a restaurant, whether it's a team, whatever kind of team you're a part of, and you illegitimately excuse yourself from work, you've created a burden for the whole rest of the team.
You've hit it. And see, that part never occurs to them. That never occurs to them. They're saying, I'm taking care of my mental health, but somebody's going to have to pick up my slack. See, that second part is not even in their consciousness. We'll talk a little bit more. We're late to the break. Exiles
We're
TV
always late to the
continues
break.
in a moment.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club. a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
This is State Treasurer John Schroeder urging you to check your mailbox. We just mailed out $4.5 million of unclaimed property checks to people across Louisiana. Unclaimed property is lost money turned over to the Department of Treasury so we can return it to you. The process is so easy, you can claim it right from your phone. Check for yourself, check for your family, and don't forget to check your businesses. This is your money. Claim it. Check your mailbox. And cash your check. It's that easy.
You're invited to the Bridal Show of the Future, a new twist on the typical bridal expo. Come out to experience the food, dancing, meet and greet, wedding event professionals, and win fantastic prizes. Friday, August 6th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. To purchase tickets, please visit thepostbridalshowgonzales.com or follow on Instagram. All proceeds benefiting the VFW Post 3693 of Gonzales. Support your local veterans.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Go where summer leads you in an award-winning Mazda CUV. Find yours during Mazda's season of discovery.
Call, click, or come by and discover your new Mazda today at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Exiles TV. I'm Bill Perfita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
I am.
And we've been talking about Simone Biles and trying to put it in perspective that it isn't just Simone Biles. That there seems to be a learned behavior amongst younger people that if they just feel they don't want to do their job that day, that they say, well, I have to look out for my mental health. Now, they're not asked any qualifying questions after that. They're not saying, are you seeing somebody for this? Are you taking medication? What kind of mental health issue are you having? Is it anxiety? Is it schizophrenia? Is it neurotic behavior? It's not. It's not. It's I'm inside my own head saying, you know what? I shouldn't have to do anything that I don't want to do. So I'm going to say I have to take care of my mental health. And you know what? It works. Mm-hmm. Again, it is...
Nobody questions it.
Well, you're a bad person if you question somebody claiming to have a mental health issue and require them to prove that they're actually having that issue.
Well, why is that when we know people have such a tendency to lie?
Well, the tendency we have is a hangover from Dr. Spockism and people of my generation whose parents, generally speaking, were pretty damn strict. And a lot of people our age ended up whining and crying and saying, oh, my mama hated me, my daddy never told me he loved me, never showed me any love, he didn't go to my baseball games. And they don't take into account that he's from a different generation and that maybe he's working two jobs so that you can actually have the baseball uniform. You know, and then these people people our age went out and had kids, and they were like framing their first bowel movement. Look how perfect it is. Look how perfect little Kevin's bowel movement is. And they're the ones
It smells like a rose.
that invented things like T-ball, where you put the ball on top of a tube, and little Johnny can take as many hacks at it as he wants, because they don't want Johnny to strike out if somebody's throwing a ball to him.
You know the other thing about T-ball? If one team's getting blown out by the end of the third inning, the game's over.
Yeah. These are the people that have mercy rules. These are the people whose parents would go and argue their case if they got a bad grade in school. And so what they have been, and the biggest thing, and this goes on today, is the schools seem to have more therapists and psychologists available than they do math teachers. I used this example the other day because it infuriates me so much. The Sandy Hook school massacre was what, 10 years after the Columbine massacre?
Yep.
All right. So 10 years later, there are kids that are brutally murdered along with teachers in a school basically on the eastern seaboard. And the East Baton Rouge Parish School System says, we have counselors available for our children because of what happened in Sandy Hook. These kids had no idea they needed counselors until you told them that.
They had no idea that they had fragile mental health about it until you encouraged them to have fragile mental health about it.
And this also creates a dependent culture where if the kid says, look, it's a shame, but I didn't know those kids and it didn't happen to any of my family, I'd like to go to gym class now, then, oh, you must really be disturbed. The kids feel bad if they don't take the free therapy for something that didn't affect them in any way. And so now, they're all this my feelings first. And it's being reinforced so much, and I'm sorry. I read a story today that Simone Biles sponsors, the big money people, that we're going to use her face and image and whatever medal she won after the Olympics to promote their products, that they're all hanging with her.
I expected as much.
See, I thought they'd show a little sense and say, what's the line from the commercials? Sprinkles are for winners.
Tough. I love that commercial.
I love the sentiment,
Tough
too.
love is very unpopular. Very unpopular. Can I say one more thing about the whole Simone Biles decision? And again, I'm not down on Simone. Her decision is her own, and she's got to live with whatever consequences may come of it. My problem with it is sucking all the air out of the room. Well, Americans are winning gold and winning silver in Tokyo, and no one is talking about the three women who won gold in women's 3x3 basketball. No one's talking about Lee Kiefer, women's gold medalist in fencing. No one's talking about, well, a few people are talking about Sinisa Lee.
There are people a week ago that were talking about Lee Kiefer because that event was very early on, and you should have seen her. That kid was jumping up and down. She is the first American to win gold in a foil event, man or woman.
Sinisa Lee, all around, gold medalist, women's gymnastics. Vince Hancock, men's skeet shooting, gold medalist. Amber English, women's skeet shooting, gold medalist. William Shaner, 10-meter air rifle champion among men. Okay, women's shortboard, Carissa Moore, United States. Chase Calise, men's 400-meter relay. Lydia Jacob, women's 100-meter breaststroke. Katie Ledecky, women's 1,500-meter freestyle.
And three others.
1,500 meters. That's grueling. She wins the gold. Nobody is talking about these gold medalists because all they're talking about is the one who was a quitter.
So, and you know what? And again, I am not criticizing you. You said Simone Biles' decision is her own. I have a different opinion of that. Simone Biles should have consulted her team before walking out.
Do we know that she didn't?
She did not. I watched it all happen. I watched it all happen. I watched the tape replay. And see, again, this is my point. If you want to always make your own decision, then do not compete with a team. The tennis player, the best in the world, that said, I'm not doing the French Open, and I'm not doing the Australian Open, she's an individual competitor. Nobody else is depending on her for their paycheck or for their accolades or for her performance. So that's fine. But again, she took the spot, she took the ride, she took the fancy togs as a courtesy at the very least to her teammates. Because you know what? Maybe they could have said something to her that would help her mental health. Maybe they could have said, Simone, good or bad, we still need you, we still want you, and we're counting on you.
You know, maybe if she would have given herself the opportunity to get some support from her team, she would have made a different decision.
And that's where we differ. I cannot respect somebody who does this quintessential me of the past 2 generations if they are a member of the team. If she had said 4 months ago she is only going to Tokyo to compete in the individual events, well then that's up to her. But she was a member of a team. I watched her. She sat on her butt after the vault. It looked like she got lost in the air. She walked out and their heads were all snapping. Where's she going? And then she came back and she told the coach, this is what I'm doing. Live with it. So no, if you're competing in a team sport and it's a small team, it's not like it's not like a baseball team or football team where they got a bench they can go to.
Mm-hmm.
Those other 3 girls had to do extra events in that all around to battle their way to the silver.
Yep. They were all, I guarantee you, they were all counting on her to perform.
I cannot respect her decision because she did it as if she were a complete island, and it's plainly apparent in this case she wasn't.
Well, I still think she's terrific, but
I do too.
It may be a moot point because I doubt if she'll ever be back in competition again.
You know what I predict? I predict after all of this, and when she's cashing all those checks from Procter & Gamble and Federal Express or whoever automobile company or whatever insurance company, when she's cashing those checks, everything with her mental state's going to be a whole lot better, and she's going to say, I'm over it. I can't wait till the 2024 Olympics.
Okay, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, COVID relief money for businesses. You'll never guess which Baton Rouge business.
Make it rain!
There's a clue. Netted over $1 million. That's coming up next.
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are 2 busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
This is State Treasurer John Schroeder urging you to check your mailbox. We just mailed out $4.5 million of unclaimed property checks to people across Louisiana. Unclaimed property is lost money turned over to the Department of Treasury so we can return it to you. The process is so easy, you can claim it right from your phone. Check for yourself, check for your family, and don't forget to check your businesses. This is your money. Claim it. Check your mailbox. And cash your check. It's that easy.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges.
At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Lance Big Package, and he's Thor Dents a Lot. And how Thor are you?
I'm mighty Thor.
I'm so Thor, I can never mind. That's an old joke, a bad joke.
As I tease this, you will never believe, if you haven't already read this, which local business in Baton Rouge was approved for $1.1 million in federal COVID-19 pandemic relief. According to a report published by the Baton Rouge Business Report and their very stalwart and steadfast reporter, Stephanie Regal. I admire Stephanie. She does good work. The Penthouse Club on Bennington in Baton Rouge. Yes, that Penthouse Club, the strip joint, formerly known as the Gold Club. $1.1 million. The money is part of the U.S. Small Business Administration Shuttered Venue Operators Grant for all the weeks and months that the Penthouse Club couldn't have girls getting dollars tucked in their G-strings or garters, whatever the case may be,
and
because of COVID-19.
And could not make payroll and pay payroll taxes. Could not have withholding taxes that go to the state and federal government. Could not pay income taxes on the income they made.
Could not purchase liquor from the local liquor distributors and the taxes that go along with that. So there is something to be said about it was a quote-unquote legitimate business that was not able to do business. And the impact on them, we know they had a drought because no one could make it rain. It's reading from the article published on Channel 9 relating to Stephanie Regal's business report article, it says, unclear, however, how the businesses even qualified for the grant. The Baton Rouge Business Report article indicated SBA regulations clearly state that establishments must not present live performances of a prurient sexual nature in order to be eligible for this program. But yet somehow the strip joint got the money.
Well, you know, it's kind of like Bill Clinton said, it depends on what your definition of is.
Exactly.
Clubs like this, where there is no touching, and where they...
Allegedly, that's the policy.
Yeah, the policy.
But then there's the champagne room.
Yeah, well, they have always passed that they are not a prurient sexual nature. And a lot of that is into the eyes, into the definition of the actual word.
All right, but come on. Men are men, and naked or nearly naked women are nearly naked women. There's a certain biological response that I think most people would qualify as that performance being of a prurient nature.
But see, here's the fun part. Old ladies and gays love me. If I walk by somebody who's 86 years old and can barely see through the cataracts, and she wants to grab my butt, as long as it wasn't my intention to make her do that, I'm clean. So the law is written so that these things can very well exist.
Yes. I agree with that. It all seems to be within the law, even though the regulations for the things are very clear. Must not present live performances of a prurient sexual nature. It may surprise you to know that the Baton Rouge Sports Restaurant, which is the name, the actual business name of the Penthouse Club, that comes in handy when you use your credit card. You don't want your wife to know where you've been. Manship
We're not
Theater.
doing a commercial for them, by the way.
Manship Theater didn't get as much money
Well, no, it's a small
as the
theater.
strip joint. The Symphony didn't get as much money as the strip joint.
Again, they have 12 performances a year.
Theater Baton Rouge, the Louisiana Art and Science Museum, Playmakers, Opera Louisiana, all got much less money than the Penthouse Club.
Well, because they didn't lose as much revenue.
By the way, according to the owners of the Penthouse Club, so far they have actually not received any funds. Here's another quote. The Penthouse Club, Baton Rouge, was eligible to apply for the SBA Shuttered Venue Operators Grant and was informed that our application was approved. However, the grant has yet to be funded, and we still await this much-needed relief, said the business in a statement to the Baton Rouge Advocate.
You want relief? Meet Misty. She's on stage. Oh, never mind.
Now, here's my question for you, Bill. In my opinion, is this, it certainly seems scandalous, but is it that big a deal? It's like, you know, I love Kieran Chawla, but the other day she exposed that a local entrepreneur and PR marketing guy, Clay Young, received nearly $250,000 in contracts with Baton Rouge Police over something like 20 months. That certainly sounds scandalous because that's a lot of money.
But the contracts weren't illegal.
But did anything illegal happen? That's the question.
No.
And you know, I think some people are upset about it because it was taxpayer money, but when you break it down and look at it, nobody broke any laws. So is it really that big a deal?
Well, and contracts with city parish entities have to meet certain criteria. And if it was illegal, it never would have gotten signed off on by the council. Now, here's the deal. The story is great, but people are all got their nose bent out of joint because they don't like what the Penthouse Club does.
Right. You know, we've got far less strip joints in Baton Rouge than we had and the surrounding area, than we had even 10 years ago.
But here's the deal. They have a valid business license. They have a liquor license.
Allegedly, they pay their taxes.
Well, I bet you they do, because if they didn't, they wouldn't
They'd
be able
be
to
closed.
get this. Yeah. They would. And here's the whole deal. It's just, to me, it's kind of, but Jimmy didn't get a cookie, so I shouldn't have a cookie. When they talk about Manship Theater, Louisiana Symphony, Theater Baton Rouge, all of these.
Much more deserving because they're legitimate odds.
But here's the whole deal. The numbers aren't there. The Penthouse Club was open 6 nights a week from noon till 2 a.m.
5 until 2 a.m.
5 a.m. till 2 a.m.
5 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Bringing in revenue. Playmakers has 4 performances a year that maybe have 200 people there. The Manship Theater only seats 323, and they have maybe 10 performances a year.
I hate to say it, but you can go to the LASM, the Louisiana Art and Science Museum, and fire a shotgun and not hit anybody most of the time.
So these are based on the revenue that you didn't get, based on the revenue you had prior to the closing. I guarantee you, if Manship Theater had more revenue, they'd get more money. So would Opera Louisiana, the Louisiana City, by the way, all of whom I support. I support them.
I'm not down on any of them. When I say the LASM has low attendance, it's just a matter of fact.
But here's the deal. They're putting what? I've never been inside since it was a non-strip club, back when it was a music venue.
Good for you. I wish I could say that, but I can't say that.
What I want, it looks like the place could probably hold 300-400, huh? 300-400 people?
It was the Gold Club the last time I was in it, but space is space, so I would say probably seat about 175.
Okay.
If it's absolutely dead full.
But it also turns over 2 or 3 times a night.
Well, sure.
So let's call it round
Once
numbers.
you've seen Amber number 6 dance, you don't want to stick around and see Amber number 6 dance again.
Yeah. So and once you run out of ones, you know, but let's make it 600 a night. Say it turns over 4 times.
I'd say 400 is probably an easy 400 a night, and then Friday and Saturday probably closer to 600-700.
All right, so they're going to do 3,000 customers a week, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking an easy 20K a week.
Manship Theater has to have 12 sold-out performances to do 3,000.
I'm thinking 20K a week in profit.
So yeah, well, here's what I'm telling you. They got money based on the numbers and their tax returns and their payroll, nothing else.
By the way, they don't pay the dancers hardly anything. I think they pay the minimum wage, but they also charge them a runway fee.
A stage fee.
A stage fee.
I learned that in the movies.
So the dancers have got to get tipped or they don't make nothing.
But here's the point. The article is great because there are going to be people who, I don't like that, what's his name, Ronnie Johns. And by the way, I'll talk to him when we come back. We'll have time for one more. But they don't like what the Penthouse Club does, so they don't think that they're entitled to the same recovery relief that everybody else got. Sorry, doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, the article is scandalous on its surface, but when you break it right down, if the Penthouse Club, and they may yet be refused. They haven't been funded with this grant yet.
Well, that'll be an interesting court battle.
It'll be interesting to see if this expose by Stephanie Regal and other news outlets, carrying it out forward, affects that.
Yeah, I want to see playmakers send a bunch of child actors in there to complain. Go to Capitol Hill and complain.
All right,
and the Penthouse people could say, "Hey, sweetie, come back and see me in 8 years."
Another break, and we're going to be back and talk about one of our favorite legislators, Ronnie Johns of Lake Charles. That's coming up next.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
You're invited to the Bridal Show of the Future, a new twist on the typical bridal expo. Come out to experience the food, dancing, meet and greet, wedding event professionals, and win fantastic prizes. Friday, August 6th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. To purchase tickets, please visit thepostbridalshowgonzales.com or follow on Instagram. All proceeds benefiting the VFW Post 3693 of Gonzales. Support your local veterans.
The all-new 22 Civic, now on sale at Team Honda on Siegen Lane.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Papita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and I assume you know who you are.
I am.
Are you?
I am.
I like that guy.
I am.
I like the spiffy black jacket, too.
So, as I said, let's talk about a guy who quickly, over the years, became one of our favorite members of the Louisiana legislature.
Senator Ronnie Johns, the author of No 18, 19, or 20-year-old strippers. That was his bill.
He gave us, now he was, you remember this a few years ago, like I think maybe 3
or 4, yeah.
But he brought us the bill that would make it so that unless you were 21 or older, you couldn't be a stripper, an exotic dancer in Louisiana. And the worst thing about the bill was
that it was unconstitutional on its face.
Unconstitutional on its face, and by the way, it has since been ruled such, and it is not in effect.
And at a cost to the taxpayer of Louisiana of about $78,000, $80,000 in attorney's fees.
The other thing is it offered no grandfather to women between the ages of 18 and 21 who were already working as strippers because it would force them out of work. His argument for the thing is stripping is entree to prostitution. No, what's entree to prostitution is being told you can't work as a stripper anymore. And the only other way you can think of to use your body to make money, to maybe feed your kid, is become a prostitute.
But you know what? I wonder if he would say that today, because it seems to me that being a state senator from the Lake Charles area, at least in his case, has been an entree to prostitution.
Yeah, because he certainly sold himself. The reason we're angry with him now is that he was an important Republican vote in the veto session, the veto override session. He excused himself from the entire session.
Yes, he had to take a patellar health day.
Yeah, he had knee surgery and he was in a wheelchair, see. And because he was in a wheelchair, he couldn't possibly get driven to the state capitol and couldn't possibly make it inside, although the state capitol has spent millions of dollars to make sure it was handicap accessible. And there are other members of the legislature who are also in wheelchairs, who show up and do their job when the legislature's in session.
But wait, there's more to the story. We found out, as he bailed out on the veto session, we found out that he also bailed out on 2 other bills where the Republicans voted nay because they were favorites of John Bel Edwards. And then the news came forth that he had been negotiating with John Bel Edwards to be named the chair of the Louisiana Gaming Control Board, a job that pays in excess of $150,000 a year, and that he thought it would be in his best interest if he wanted this job to not get on the bad side of John Bel Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think John Bell even had to use any lube on this one, or do you think it was just kind of open up wide, help me find my keys, and we can drive out of here?
Slid right in. So Ronnie Johns, in my opinion, you get the thumbs down from the Exiles. You sold yourself and sold your vote and sold out your constituents who wanted constitutional carry, who wanted a law prohibiting transgender athletes from competing in women's sports, thus ruining women's sports for the females. You wanted these things because the governor wanted these things. How dare you call yourself a conservative? How dare you call yourself a representative of your constituents?
Well, and let's look at this as well. The reason he said that he wrote that ridiculously stupid and terribly expensive stripper bill, which led to the no fat chicks bill, but that was
that was a proposed amendment for comedic effect to illustrate how ridiculous the bill was. Kenny Havard, when he proposed that amendment, was trying to show how ridiculous the bill was by using a ridiculous amendment.
Well, his reason was he had a lot of people he represented that were fundamentalist Christian, that didn't like the idea of young women taking off their clothes for money. Do these same fundamentalist Christian people that you seem to think you represent, do they like gambling? Do they like sports betting? Do they like online gaming? I think not. Most of the people that I've met from fundamentalist churches
don't like any of that.
Won't even go to a restaurant at a casino.
Look, I have fundamentalist Christians in my family. They won't buy a scratch and win lottery ticket because it's gambling.
So again, what an absolute hypocrite. And by the way, again, those of you in the Republican Party, and I am a Republican, you really need to take the vacuum through this party in Louisiana, because you got a lot of people that are just like this guy. Sell his soul for 30 pieces of silver and sell the work the rest of you all did in the legislature down the same porcelain convenience at the same time. But don't worry, he's got his.
That's right.
He's moving from a $1,500 salary and per diem to $152,000 plus as the head of the Gaming Control Board for selling you all out.
I imagine that position is lucrative in more than one way.
Well, let's hope not.
If you know what I'm saying.
Well, let's hope not. There's been no hint of that in the past, but hey, tomorrow's another day.
This is Louisiana, and just because there's been no hint doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You all in the legislature better not forget. Oh, and he still has to be confirmed. And you know what? If he can sell himself to John Bell, John Bell, as the governor, might be able to sell him right back to the legislature by saying, you know what? I got what I needed out of this guy. We already know what he is. Now it's just a matter of the price. So make sure you don't confirm it.
Shame on him for not showing up and voting, and shame on the Republicans who reversed their vote in the veto override session. You know who you are. Shame on you. Shame. This veto override session was a complete waste of taxpayer money.
But what a joke this has been. I mean, this is Huey Long stuff, is what this is.
Well, no, it's John Bell Edwards stuff. I think John Bell wants to be the second coming of Huey Long.
Well, he may be on his way. That's going to do it for us today. Thanks so much for joining us on Exiles TV. Have a great weekend, and join us again tomorrow morning for our Facebook Live podcast called The Morning Exiles.
Take care.
Bye-bye.